Oh wait, is it recording now?
It's been recording.
Oh great. You're sneaky. Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to another Thread Daily. I'm Jess, here to serve up all the tea about sustainable aviation fuels. As someone who's from a tiny island in the middle of nowhere, you can probably imagine that I've taken a lot of flights in my life. And I'm not complaining. What's not to love about planes? Besides the recycled air, lack of legroom, and sodium-infused meals that they serve on airplanes, they're pretty amazing. But they're responsible for 2.5% of the world's carbon emissions each year. Given that there are 9,700 planes in the air at any given time, you can only imagine the amount of fossil fuels being burned as you're watching this. It's terrible stuff. However, there's a solution to this issue. You may or may not already know that sustainable aviation fuels, also known as SAF, were first trialed 13 years ago in 2008. Instead of fossil fuels, SAFs are made from discarded animal fats, cooking oils, and even waste material from businesses and homes, like discarded pieces of paper and food waste. Once these renewable energy sources have been transformed to liquid, they are then mixed with kerosene to make a half and half blend of SAF and traditional fuels. Weirdly, it works perfectly to power airplanes. With a significantly smaller carbon footprint, I should add. To date, SAF has powered over 150,000 flights, which is a humble number, since 2008. But as we already know, like most things to do with climate change, having the answer doesn't always lead to widespread implementation. SAFs can reduce the current carbon footprint of air travel by up to 80%. When SAF is made exclusively from plants, it's essentially carbon neutral. The amount of carbon absorbed during a plant's growth is the same amount of carbon it will emit as it's burned inside a jet engine. Last year, the first helicopter fueled by 100% SAF took to the skies. But the problem with widespread implementation of SAF is that it takes a lot of energy to produce. Think of all the vegetables that need growing, think of all the animals that need raising, and all that waste from homes and businesses that need collecting. That takes a lot of energy. To acquire these materials in a green way, companies will need to rely on hydro, solar, or wind power to make SAFs truly sustainable. At COP26, nations agreed that producing SAFs should not compete with food production for land use or water supply. I'm gonna say something funny because I feel like up until now there's been a lot of information. What's the point in having green energy for planes if we can't eat? Because they can't be like, oh, sorry, I get you wanna grow your edamame beans for your M&S sushi bowl in this field, but we need it so we can fly planes, and that's gonna be messed up. In addition to these guidelines, the ICAO, I'm just gonna say that, and then you can put the thing, set targets for making all flights carbon neutral by 2050. To do this, they will need 35 billion gallons of SAF. I'll leave you to imagine how many barrels that is. And I'm imagining you putting barrels all over. Commercial airplane manufacturers Airbus and Boeing have agreed to work with fuel production companies to produce SAFs moving forward. In other big news, Emirates Airlines, shout out to Arsenal, has agreed to conduct a fully 100% SAF fueled flight, commercial flight by the way, before the year is up. They only have a month left, so let's hope we hear something about this coming up in the news soon. Could that be it? Is that Emirates? If successful, this could fuel huge support for sustainable aviation energy in the future. See what I did there? So I guess the big question here is, would you fly in an airplane 37,000 feet into the air on strictly vegetable oil? Let us know in a comment down below. If you'd like to read more about sustainable aviation fuels, head over to thread.com to read my article. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, like, share, comment, subscribe. Until next time. Both commercial airline manufacturers, Airbus and Boeing, have agreed. Both commercial airline manufacturers, Airbus and Boeing, have agreed. Airbus and Boeing.